Hi guys, my name is David and welcome back to my channel. I just want to say before I get started in this whole video, I just want to say a massive thank you to anyone and everyone that has watched my previous vlog video for this book. As of recording this video, it's uploaded on my channel, but it isn't public yet. I just need to sort out the thumbnail and some of the behind the scenes stuff before I upload it, but by the time this video comes out, that video would have been uploaded on my channel. But I just want to say thank you to anyone that has actually watched that. It means a lot to me. I obviously I don't know how well that video is done, but even if it has got just one view, I'm just pleased that one person has watched it. So I just wanted to say about where I am with the book. I have finished reading a chapter by or based around Kat Stark. I usually am not a big fan of Kat Stark and Rob's chapters in this story, as I find them very political. But because I've been watching videos on YouTube about the series, it's kind of somewhat spoiled it for me. Well, I knew more or less about what was going to happen to them, but it's kind of cemented that for me. They are at the phrase. They know that they have to try to make a allegiance with them or form a bond with them, and they know that Rob was supposed to marry one of these girls from their household, but then he kind of went against his word and married someone else. And there's that kind of underlying um, fear that, okay, you've betrayed us and I hate you, and all that the phrase have, and this mistrust that they have for Rob and for House Stark, and that underlining hatred. But everyone's all smiles and okay, it's all in the past, but behind the smiles, they've got the knives in the Stark's back. Um, there's this wedding that's going to be happening with Rob's uncle, I believe it is, and I think that this is where Rob and Kathleen are going to end their story. Um, yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about that when that happens, but it may happen, it may not happen. I know that adaptations are sometimes different from the novels that they're based on, but with the subtle clues that the Frey household has kind of mentioned to the Starks, it has led me to believe that this action and this event is going to happen. But yeah, they have learned that Theoden Greyjoy has been captured and he has been tortured for burning down Winterfell. And Rob and Catelyn still want to go home, but I do not know whether that's going to be realistic because of the hatred and distrust that the Freys have towards the Starks. But it was a good chapter. A bit boring, of course. I'm not really much of a fan of Catelyn's chapters, as I've made it abundantly clear. But it was interesting. I also received that copy of the illustration guidebook of Jinjuri 2. This is the enchantment exhibition that I believe happens definitely in Japan, probably Tokyo, and it happens in 2024. I'm pretty sure it was. But this is I'm gonna say this is the official guidebook. I'm not sure if that's what it's classified as or an illustration book, but this is the exclusive enchantment exhibition for Jinjuitu. It came probably about an hour or two ago, and it is absolutely immaculate. It is wrapped up in this plastic wrap baggie that's got its little seal on the top. Um, I wasn't expecting that to arrive like this. Super pleased that it arrived wrapped in plastic. So this is going to go on my shelf, and of course I'm going to look through it. I was going to say read it, but it's all in Japanese. Um, I could get my phone out and Google Translate this whole thing, but that sounds tedious. But I am looking forward to obviously taking this out of the plastic and looking through it and enjoying it. And I'm probably going to do a whole video on this, a separate video. I was debating whether to simply show it in this vlog and that be it. But I'm going to do a whole video on this, and I can't wait for that. Hey guys, so I'm about to go to sleep, and I just wanted to check in to tell you what I've been reading so far in the book. Aria has found the area where Catelyn and Robb are. It's an area called the Twins. At first, I was a bit confused about where it was, but it's in a section of Westeros which is called the Neck. Basically, it's in the middle of the map. And the reason why it's called the Neck is because it's like a very narrow stretch of land separating the north from the south. So Arya, with the Hound, has gone to the area called the Twins because she knows that her mother and brother are there. And they see all these tents around and celebration going on, and yeah, she's finally going to be going back to her family. And the Hound is like saying, right, come on, I'm going to take you to your mother. And yeah, we jump to Catelyn as well, where she and Robb are in this massive hall where these Freys are having like this massive extravagant party for this wedding. And ultimately it ends up being this kind of farce, this kind of pretend party, as it were, where Lord Frey has become so bitter by revenge and betrayal that he feels that Robb has caused him. And he's like, I'm pretty sure it's like he put this party on to, kind of betray them, and it ultimately ended up with them being killed. Robb was shot with many arrows and stabbed through the heart with a sword. And Catelyn was beaten, and her face was like torn up a lot, and she ultimately died because someone cut her throat. So these two characters have died, and Arya and the Hound are outside, and they see all these like Freys going from the castle. All the tents and outside is all burning. It's all basically hell on earth. And she runs to the castle because she knows that something is wrong with Catelyn and Robb. Something has happened to them. She doesn't know what, because she hasn't witnessed it like her father when he was killed in front of her. So she hasn't witnessed it yet. She still doesn't know for sure, but she's running towards the castle and the Hound is trying to stop her. And it ends with her being hit in the head with an axe from the Hound. I believe that he hasn't killed her. He's just simply knocked her out, because the Hound is many, many, many things, both good and bad. But one thing that he will never do, and I believe that he will never do, is hurt a child. So I believe that Arya is still alive. Hey guys, so I thought we'd come out to the park. This is a different one. It's got a massive lake around me. And yeah, I thought I'd just come out here. Some of that I thought I'd just come out here. It's my day off, so thought I would talk about what's been happening in the book so far. So after the murder of Robb and Catelyn Stark, word has quickly gotten around some of the households in Westeros, such as obviously the Lannisters have heard about it, and as you can imagine, King Joffrey is on top of the moon. He considers it his victory, and he wants to have Robb's head as so we can give it to Sansa at his wedding feast as a present. So still a douchebag. He's not in the book that much, but when he is, you really dislike him. And there's all this political talk with Cersei and Tywin as well, because of the event that's just happened. And we find out that Stannis knows about it as well, and he's seeing it as a positive thing because, yeah, one less person going around saying that their king is one less person for him to worry about. Also, Davos, he's learning to read because he's the hand of the king for Stannis. So he's learning to read, so I thought that was kind of an odd thing to put in the book. And I've just started reading off a bit of Jon's chapter. Not that much, but apparently they're at the wall waiting for the wildlings to attack. And what they've done is, because there's so few members of the Night's Watch, to make themselves look probably a bit more intimidating, they have made up all these scarecrows to put near them, so at a distance it looks like there are more of them than what it at first appears to be. So I just wanted to show the area that I'm standing in. This is an area called the Three Kings Ponds. I think that's what it's called. It's been a while since I've looked it up. I wouldn't say it's a historic area of my town. It is and it isn't, but this park has been here for years, and I just wanted to share it with you guys and share it as well. So yeah, I'm just going to be walking around here. It is a public park, so I've got to be wary that there may be people around. Yeah, I've already seen one cyclist and one guy walking his dog, so I've got to be wary about respecting people's boundaries if and when I see people. Also, if you can hear noise, I don't know if it picks up well on camera, but over there is all these, well, there's this small group of guys looking like they are doing all this gardening. It's all loud and heavy duty over there, so yeah, don't know how well you can pick that up. But yeah, I thought I would just show you this location, guys, because it is beautiful. A little bit scary at times, because you're thinking, well, if no one knows that you're out here, if I get killed out here, then who's going to know? But fortunately enough, I've told my family where I'm going today, so if I happen to go missing, I'm not planning to, but if I happen to, then they know where to find my body. So I'm just walking along this path near the pond, and I came across this. I saw a bunch of flowers in the in the distance, and I thought, okay, yeah, some wild flowers, that's nice. But then I noticed all these rocks on top of it, and the flowers are in a jar, so it looks like somebody's buried something out here. I mean, it's too small for a human, obviously, thank God. So it looks like it appears to be an animal, maybe a dog or a cat. So yeah, somebody's buried there, looks like their beloved pets out here. I thought it was kind of strange to see this. Hey guys, so I thought just checking with you guys with the book so far. I've been reading John's chapter, and yeah, it's just basically what I thought was going to be the wildlings trying to get over the wall. I'm not sure. I wasn't really sure whether they were north of the wall or south of the wall. I presume it was north of the wall, and they're trying to get over to the south side because that's their whole goal. I don't really see the point if they are in the south side of the wall if they're trying to get back. I don't really think that was their intention. I think they were trying to get over the wall from the north side. Anyway, there was a massive battle, loads of fighting, and John's um, love interest, the female wildling, got shot with an arrow. Not one of his. It was similar, but it had like, I think a different coloured feather on it. It said at the end of the chapter that she was dying, but it didn't say that she died. It just said that she's dying or was dying. So I presume she's still alive. Additionally, I forgot to mention that probably about a week and a half ago, I kind of put a question out on my community tab saying or asking everyone in their opinion what the genre of fantasy Game of Thrones is, whether it is epic fantasy or whether it's grimdark. I personally knew what the genre was for me at that moment in time, and I don't really think that anyone really can convince me otherwise. I consider it to be grimdark, but it was an interesting experiment for me because I well at this time of making this video, it is an exact 50-50 split between epic fantasy and grimdark. There's 20 votes for it, and I presume it's 10 each. So it was an interesting experiment to see because the whole point of me doing that and putting out that question is because I wanted to really find out whether grimdark as a subgenre of fantasy, whether it was dead and people didn't really know about it, or it was forgotten about, or whether another subgenre of horror kind of took it over. I mean, as I said, for me, this series is a grimdark series, but I do understand what people mean by when they think that it's epic fantasy, because epic fantasy for me is something like the Lord of the Rings. Like this massive, big scale of a book and a world with all these massive battles in it. Game of Thrones does have battles, or Song of Ice and Fire does have battles in it, but is not as to that scale, or not yet anyway. But I know, I understand what people are saying, but I think I do because it's like a massive world. There are all these characters, there are all these different kind of creatures. So I get what people are going at and talking about. It was an interesting experiment. I made it abundantly clear when people were commenting, and I just said, "Oh, this was kind of a experiment for me, an interesting thing for me to do." So yeah, I mean, if you haven't voted for that, let me know down below in the comments on this video. What do you think Song of Ice and Fire is? Do you think it's grimdark or whether it is epic fantasy? It'd be kind of interesting to get people's different points of view and what people think about it, what the subgenre of fantasy this book series is about, or actually is. Hey guys, so this is going to be my last check-in for this video. I've been reading about Bran. It was surprising when I came across a chapter on Bran because it feels like ages since we've actually had a chapter based around this character. I mean, I wasn't sure whether he was still alive, but he is at the wall. It took me a while to figure out where he was in Westeros, but he's at the wall. He's at a castle called the Night Fort, which I had a look at the map of the wall in the book, and the Night Fort is 2 castles along from Castle Black. The Night Fort has been abandoned. It's one of the many abandoned structures along the wall. It's in massive disrepair. It's all crumbling to pieces. There's rats, cobwebs everywhere. There's weeds and trees growing up everywhere, and it's a complete ruin. So Bran and his friends have gone there, and I'm not really sure what their intentions were, apart from getting to the wall and finding Jon Snow. But they are making their base there, and we find out a lot about the lore of the wall. I love the wall and the dark, and the members of the Night's Watch. I find that part of Westeros to be extremely fascinating because you have this brotherhood that is dedicated to protecting the realm from these unspeakable dangers and evils, and they are completely selfless and they devote themselves to that cause. And you also have the massive structure of the wall itself. You would think that it would just melt because it's just made of ice. But how was it made? And I mean, it's so old that people are speculating that it was made by wizards and giants. But I would love to find out exactly how it was made. Maybe it's in the encyclopedia for the series, but I would love to find out. There's loads of all these spells, and we find out that there were these about 79, I think what it was, members of the Night's Watch um, that actually fled and turned their backs on what they pledged to do. And they were brought back to the wall, and they were kind of entombed in the wall itself, facing the north side. So yeah, that was creepy. We find out about the Rat Cook, which um, like did a Sweeney Todd. He um, fed a king his son in the form of a pie, and the Night King, who, as far as I could tell, he married um, a member of the others. She was like described as being a corpse. She had white skin and blue eyes, and how he um, went kind of mad. He was obsessed with power, and yeah, we find out about the Mad Axe, um, a man who went around barefoot with a axe killing people. And I love it how we have all this lore in Bran's chapter. That's what I love about this series. You have all this dark and rich lore. It's a lot more interesting than all this politics. But Bran has come across this well which goes deep into the ground, and then when they're all sleeping, something comes up and they capture it, and it happens to be Sam and Gilly. And Sam told them that there is a gateway um, from for them to like pass through the wall, but only members of the Night's Watch can go through this passage. And when they go down into this um, like well with Sam, Gilly's been left behind because I think his intentions is just to show them the way, and he's going to be coming back. He makes that abundantly clear to her. And when they find this door, it's made of I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Werwood. You know these werwood trees that have these white faces on them. This door is made of that wood, and it has this face on it, and it's really shocking when it opens its eyes and it talks. And so yeah, it admits them into the through, because only members of the Night's Watch can go through this door, which is smart because the wildlings could easily have used this door. And yeah, that's where I am with the book. I'm at page 203. I'm really enjoying it. Some chapters are better than others, but overall, it's an interesting read. Thank you so much for watching this video. It means a lot to me. I will be continuing on reading, obviously, the Song of Ice and Fire, Storm of Swords, Blood and Gold, and yeah, thank you so much for watching this, and I can't wait to continue on this journey through this series. But yeah, with all that out of the way, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.